The last little case study I want to share with you is Copper State Credit Union, which is down in Phoenix, Arizona. And this came about, they had a merger of two credit unions, and they were going to be taking over a new space for their headquarters. And when we met with them, we wanted them to understand that we needed to create an experience much like we do in our branch projects. We didn't want to just, put in cubes and put in four walls and kind of allow people to go in and work. We wanted to build it and play off of a branch environment. So the first thing we did is we went down and reviewed with them kind of market trends and seeing things that were happening in other industries as well as financial services. And it gave us a nice basis to talk about what was our, quote, big idea. So we always review these sorts of things. And what really struck me about the Coca-Cola one as we were looking was the ability to take kind of the history of Coca-Cola from the old style bottles to the old style coolers, and then transform it into these new spaces with new technology, and even on their window graphics going from their oldest bottles to their newest bottles. So it was a great way to kind of show that transformation, but in a very contemporary, warm and welcoming space for all their employees as well. So this was the existing space that they were taking over. It was some sort of a technology company. It was more or less a cube farm. So we looked at areas that we weren't going to touch, mechanicals and things like that, but left us with a palette to be wide open and to be working on that. So again, this was imagery of the space before we took it over, but we really wanted to create a story. And the story or the big idea was, how do we create a promenade from the entrance right through all the way back to the break room? And this is on one floor. And that promenade, much like in Europe, becomes a meeting space. So we had departments off of the sides of these that everybody could come out and have areas for small conferences, larger conferences, kind of food, but they would meet in the promenade and could get from one area of the bank or the headquarters to the other. So that was kind of the idea of how that would look. And so we built that out. And again, we did the space planning. We looked at each department and where those departments would go. And from this, obviously, we were allowed to come up with their budget, furniture selection, tiles, ceiling, lighting, digital, and all of that, and kind of play this into the space. Now, this all came about March or April of this past year. So right as COVID was hitting. And we were fortunate that we were able to kind of continue with the project. So this was all completed in about 14 weeks, the build out kind of during the whole initiation of COVID. And so this was kind of the finished look of coming down that promenade and looking down that promenade. And again, it wound its way back to this kind of lunchroom area. And again, very experiential. And we often talk about when we're out looking for talent nowadays, we have to not only deliver kind of unique and fun space, but we got to give people growth opportunities and let them know that, they can be here for the long haul if they'd like. And so part of it is creating this really fun environment, teaching them how to use it properly, and making sure that there's room for growth as they move through the organization. And this was kind of just the entry where customers that may come in, it's not really like most headquarters, very few outsiders come in, but this was the simple lobby that we had in that environment as well. So great opportunity. We've done a couple branches for these folks as well. But I think the big takeaway is when you're looking at headquarters, whether it's a new build, a remodel, or even a refresh, is think about the story. What is the big idea that's going to drive the whole program within that headquarters? Engage your employees. And again, let them be creative and give them the space to do it.